how's it going, Kittanning? It has been a long time since we did an episode of the Kittanning podcast, but I'm very excited today. I have with me Carmen and Kathy from Armstrong County Planning and Development. Why don't you guys just introduce yourselves, and then we'll get into it.
Okay, I'm Carmen Johnson, the Assistant Director.
And I'm Kathy Howman, Program Manager.
And I was approached by Planning and Development a couple weeks ago, talking with them, and they have an interesting program that I wanted you guys to know about, and I think that it ties in. You guys are a little bit familiar with the channel and with what's going on in Kittanning as well. But what you guys know, one of our main goals as part of Kittanning 300 is to improve blight in the community, and so we want to clean up blighted houses and hopefully not just tear them all down, but improve some of them as well and get them back to a better state. And these guys are a big part of what's happening across the county. And there's something like $1 million right now you guys are trying to deal with.
Right, at this point, and probably towards the end of this year we'll have a little bit more.
Okay. And so explain a little bit what you guys do, and then like the program that's going on right now that you're trying to fulfill.
Okay. One of our functions in the department is housing related, and we have funding sources for housing rehab for low income, low moderate income persons. Our biggest funding source is a community development block grant, which we call the CDBG program. We have a little over $700,000 available in that at this point in time.
Wow.
And that has some expiration dates that are coming up this year. And we're looking for housing rehab contractors. We currently have 3 on the list, but we do need more. We have 2 other programs. One is a housing preservation grant. And with that program, you don't have to correct all code deficiencies, whereby with the CDBG program, you have to correct all your code deficiencies. So it gives you some leeway there, but of course you don't get as much assistance.
Yeah.
And then there's a new one that we just received, and it's accessible housing, and that is for ADA compliance to help the disabled to stay in their household instead of going into an institution or a nursing facility, something along that line.
Wow, that's great.
And the interesting thing about that is it's a owner-occupied and a rental. If it's a rental unit, the owner has to agree to the improvements and has to agree for a period of time to continue to rent to low moderate income persons.
Okay. So let's kind of go through those one at a time, because I know there's some different areas that qualify for different things, right?
Right.
So the first one, the CDBG, is that similar to what the boroughs get as well?
Yes, that is the entitlement program with the state.
Okay.
And they're federal funds, and they're, at this point in time, Kiski Township, Manor Township, and East Franklin Township have money towards housing rehab. Kittanning is an entitlement community, but it has its money allocated towards street and road improvements.
Right.
Not to say that in the future they may want to do some housing rehab also.
Right. Okay. So they're so you have how much available in those programs for?
Okay, we have in Kiski Township we have a little over 369,000. Manor has about 60,000. And East Franklin has 322,000.
Oh wow!
So there's a lot of money there.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you guys have projects lined up for that, or are you always looking for projects for now and in the future?
Well, as far as like applicants on our waiting list, we do have applicants on the waiting list. We have some that are qualified.
Okay.
Each year, these entitlements receive an allocation, and they have to allocate that money towards an eligible project. So in the future, I believe Kiski and East Franklin have allocated their funds towards additional housing rehab. So later this year, they'll probably increase their pots of money.
Wow. That's
available to them.
Okay. And that grant specifically, I'm assuming it has to be spent in a certain period of time, or how does that work?
Yes, they're some of them are 5-year contracts. The state has gone back to 4-year contracts, but some of the money is 2014 monies that we have to have spent by this summer. So we're looking for contractors to help us spend that money.
Okay. And so that's the big hang up right now, right? It's contractors.
Right.
So I know we were talking a little bit before the interview. You said you had 2 contractors, now you have 3, but you need more, right?
Yeah, we have a pool. We need a pool of contractors,
Yeah.
especially with the amount of money that we have available. And we want to, since we have to offer to the homeowners a safe and decent home and assist them with that, we need contractors that's going to be able to do the work and get as much done as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm assuming it's probably like a dream scenario for a contractor. They would work with you guys on actually the agreement. Or?
Yes, we have a contractor subcontractor application, and that of course includes what it is with all contractors. You have your supply house references that we'll need, some of the homes that they or other projects that they have done, customer references.
Yep.
We need their insurances, we need their PA certification, and we check that all out. And if they got everything in line, then we put them right on the list.
Yeah. And so then they would be in line for doing these projects. You have, what'd you say, $750,000 plus more coming later in the year, and work lined up, I'm assuming, for many, many years to come. I don't think CDBG is going to go anywhere. So.
We
hope
hope
not.
not.
Yeah.
And we say that in unison.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing that we should mention too is our contractors have to pass background checks too.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and then the contractors, I'm assuming, won't just be for these projects, but for all of them, right? For all the different programs that you offer?
Well, for the housing rehab,
Yeah.
they would be.
Yes.
Some of the other projects we do are water and sewer projects. Now, if they're a contractor who does both,
Yeah.
then so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. So give me an idea. I don't know if there's any that come to mind. Like over the last few years, what are some different projects that you've done, or what kind of work do you actually get into on these houses?
Okay, well, under the CDBG program, we have to correct all code deficiencies. So that includes electrical. Sometimes we've had to rewire entire homes, interest boxes. Sometimes it's maybe just half the home has been rewired and maybe half hasn't.
Okay.
Windows, furnaces, roofs, siding, insulation, kitchen upgrades, bathroom upgrades. Certainly if an individual in these households is disabled and they need maybe a ramp into the house, we do that. Maybe the bathroom needs to be made compliant so that they have easy access into their bathrooms.
Okay. So it can be pretty extensive then.
Yes.
So you need a contractor that can do, or will you subcontract out little pieces? So if you had just an electrician that wanted to be part of your program, would that be okay? Or are you looking for more general contractors?
We're looking for them all.
Anyone and everyone. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. So then, do you guys have? I'm just trying to picture how this whole thing works. So I'm just trying to understand. So someone applies, they meet the income requirements. Then do you guys send out an inspector that looks at the house and kind of makes a checklist of everything that can fit the program?
Yes. Mike Swartz is our housing rehab coordinator.
Okay.
And he will go out and do the inspections. Once Kathy generally does the income verifications to make the homeowners eligible, and then Mike would go out and do the housing inspections. And then if there's any lead, lead, radon, asbestos, and mold, then we have a risk assessor that the rehab goes to. He comes out and does his testing. That's incorporated into the contract, any remediation.
Okay.
And then we put it out for bid, send it out to the contractors that we have certified, and we receive the bids. They're awarded the grant funds. We give out a startup check. Mike goes back and does periodic inspections, and he'll have to do some labor compliance interviews with the employees of the contractor, and he'll do second inspection and then a final. And if everything is complete and done the way it is to be done, and we get the contractor's warranties and so forth, and the clearances check out from the risk assessor, then we can issue final payment.
Wow, that's
Did I
great.
miss anything in there?
No, you got it all.
Very thorough. So, there was one other question that popped into my mind. Give me a second while I think of it. Oh, average size of the project. Do you have like a range? Like, are you talking these are $10,000 projects, or are they $100,000 projects, or is it kind of some of both?
Okay. We used to have a limit on what we would put into a home, but Pennsylvania Department of Community Economic Development, DCD, administers the CDBG program, and now they have told us that there's no limit on the amount of money you put into a home, just as long as it's brought up to code.
Okay.
The only caveat to that is that the after rehab value cannot exceed the housing values for Armstrong County, which I think is 119 at this point in time.
Okay.
So if that home after it's rehabbed is valued over that, then we can't do that home.
Okay.
And we have to correct all the code deficiencies, so there's really nothing that we can cut out.
Right.
So that's kind of like a little stumbling block at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm sure some of you are maybe more rural houses that would put them over the top to put too much money in them.
Yeah.
So are you doing more in towns or closer to town, or how do you balance that? That's got to be difficult.
Well, we're actually just getting up and running on some of these, so
Okay.
we've had some of them come in that don't exceed that value, and others that we're not sure. We're rebidding them to see how it comes out. Maybe the contractor saw something there that Mike didn't see when he did his inspection.
Okay.
So we're taking them as they come on our list.
Okay. So that's the one program. There were two others that you had mentioned. What was the second one? Was restoration, preservation, something
Yeah,
like
it
that?
was the Housing Preservation Grant. That's funded through rural development.
Okay.
And
How is that program different than the first one?
okay, under this program, you don't have to correct all the code deficiencies. So if the homeowner wants new windows or wants the home to be rewired, it can be done through this program. We try to steer them towards what is code and what seems to be the worst in the home. And on the other hand, then they don't get as much money as you would under the CDBG program.
Okay. And are there any specific things that you're targeting with that one that aren't targeted on the other one, or is there quite a bit of overlap?
It's basically an
Okay.
overwrap of everything.
Okay. And then the last one that you mentioned, what was that one?
Okay, that's the Accessible Housing Program.
Okay.
And that's another DCD state-funded program, and that program will make homes accessible to the disabled so that they can remain in their homes. And we would do work like ramps for access in and out of the home, bathroom improvements, chair lifts, inside outside type of chair lifts, things along that line.
Sorry, just follow up on that. Is that just disability, or is that people as they age as well? Can they do either or?
Well, they have to have a permanent disability, a slip from their doctor.
Okay.
And under that program, then we can do renters and as well as the owner occupants.
Okay. All right. Very good. I know that's incredibly important, especially. I remember a while ago we were talking with Habitat for Humanity and working with Ramps of Hope, who will put in ramps for people as they get older, or Habitat's done a lot of that too, and kind of the quote-unquote aging in place that people have talked a lot about, because you look at long-term care insurance and what it looks like if you end up in that kind of a situation. It can really be detrimental, not only to people's mental and physical health, but also financially. It can really change people's future that way. So I think that's what the coolest thing is. My assumption is that not a lot of people know about what you guys do. Not enough people, at least, know about what you guys do. It's incredibly important, and there's other organizations that are kind of filling in different pieces of the puzzle, and you guys are filling in a really important one there. We have all that. So $750,000 plus how much money is available in these other ones?
And these other ones, under the HPG program, we have a little over 133,000, and then in the accessible housing, we have over 180,000
Okay.
in there. And one thing to mention on that accessible housing will soon be, since it's just a new grant that we received, we'll soon be advertising for applicants to go onto a waiting list. And then once we set a deadline when we have to have those applications, just a little form to fill out. And then we do a lottery, a public lottery, and we start drawing out the names, and that's how we pick the ones that we go to.
Okay.
Now, we don't know, maybe applicants 1 through 5 are not income eligible, so maybe number 6 becomes the first one. It just depends upon, how everything shakes out once you start the verifications.
Do those names, the ones that don't get it, do they go into next year's lottery, or does everyone have to reapply every year?
They would have to reapply. If they're not eligible now, they might not be eligible in the future, but then again, they might be. Maybe they retire or something, but if they want to be put on the end of the list, we can do that. Hopefully we'll get quite a few applicants under that program.
Yeah. So I guess is there anything else that you guys want to say about the programs themselves?
Not really, not with regards to the program, because it's been quite explained. But
Yeah.
But since we have all of the programs and we
Right.
have all that money, what we just need to expand our pool of contractors.
Right.
Right.
That's right where I was going to go back to. So the contractors. So I'm a contractor out there, and I'm hearing this for the first time. I didn't know there was a pool of $1 million that I could possibly help to put into the county in a positive way. How do I contact you, and what's going to be my process from there?
Well, you can contact the department here at the number of 724-548-3223, or you can contact me by email. And it's kahowman@co.armstrong.pa.us.
Okay.
And we can start the process. You can also get on the county website, and you can go through that way.
Yep.
You can see we did do a contractors workshop slideshow. It's on there. It kind of gives you an overview of the program itself. And so you give us a call, and we'll start the process.
Okay.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And you'll soon see these little flyers going up around the county.
Nice.
We'll have them also on the county website, department website. We're getting it out on Facebook, posting these in stores, supply stores, and just getting them out to some contractors if we can find any to make them aware.
Absolutely.
So you'll soon see those going up.
Okay. And then I guess the other thing would be applicants. If applicants wanted, is it the same process? They just call you guys as well if they wanted to get on the list for the future?
Yes, they can call us, of course, and we can do an intake questionnaire. We can fill it out. Or they can get on the county website through the planning office and housing. There is an intake questionnaire on the website.
Nice. Okay. Well, I think I have all my questions answered. I really appreciate your guys' time and taking the time to be with me today and letting me come and hang out with you and learn about a great program in the county.
Well, we thank you for doing this, and we need contractors, so we
Yeah.
really
Please,
need
please.
contractors.
If you haven't gotten the message yet,
Yes.
there is $1 million on the table, and we would really love for you contractors to reach out to the county. Help us help people in need, right? Across the county.
Right.
That's right.
Help us to clean up blight. Help us to continue to make a difference and make our county into the gem that we know that it can be in Western Pennsylvania. I think that's it, though.
Okay.
You guys good?
That
We're
works.
good.
All right. Well, we just thank you guys for watching. Thank you for taking the time. And as always, see you in the next one.